Hi folks, welcome to Candidates Forum. We are here today with Isabella Solis, who's running for Las Cruces mayor. Now, Isabella's theme is Time for New Leadership. Isabella, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate your kind introduction this afternoon. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be here to be able to address the people of the city. I am thankful for my campaign folks that are out there doing their due diligence. I really appreciate that. And most of all, I'm really thankful to my husband for his support and putting up all those signs, all that hard work. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of it without him, so I'm thankful for that. And it is really an honor to be able to produce this show. Thank you for hosting.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, we got a lot of questions here to find out how you are going to bring Las Cruces to where we want it to be. But before we do that, how about some background on you? When you were growing up, what was life like then?
Well, Dave, I am the oldest of 8 children.
Wow.
And my parents were migrant workers, and I'm just a farm girl. And I'm thankful to be here today. I've always been an advocate for my family as a very young child. And I always felt like my parents worked hard and they tried to school us the best that they knew how to do.
Now, you were the first of 8 children.
That's correct.
Now, so you had a leadership role way, way long ago when you were young.
That's correct.
Okay.
So, you know, Dave, my first day of school, my mother put me on a school bus, that big old yellow bus.
Oh, yeah.
My mother didn't have a car and my daddy was working. So my first day of school, she put me on that bus and she gave me instructions, and she said, when you get to the school, go to the principal and go enroll yourself in first grade.
Wait a minute. You had to register yourself in first grade on your first day of school at age 6?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
And the school was actually 25 miles out.
Wow.
So
Were you afraid?
Well, I think that I was sitting on that front row with that school bus, you know, standing tall, you know, very proud of myself. Actually, this is a great adventure. And I feel like my mother never showed me any fear, so I was not afraid. So I felt like this is just the way it works. This
obviously,
is what I do.
That lack of fear continues. Okay, so you're in school. What was life like at home? I mean, your family life?
We, you know, all 8 of us, we are a close family. We grew up close. Our parents were always there for us. I really appreciate everything that my family did for us. As a 6-year-old growing up in a large family, I really feel like I've always been an advocate for the family.
How about the work that your family did?
My daddy was a migrant worker, farm worker, and he actually became a businessman.
Okay.
And so it's really funny because he didn't finish 3rd grade. Wow. So I had to show him how to write his numbers because he didn't know how to write checks. So he actually took a legal pad and we started working on it, $100, $200.
Was this his business or was he working for someone?
He was working for someone else, so finally he got his own business. And actually it was a business where they're called module trucks, and what they do, they go out in the cotton field and pick up those big blocks of cottons. I don't know if you've ever seen those out there.
Yes, I have.
That was his business, so that's what he started doing, picking up those blocks of cotton.
So he had his own business in that respect.
That's
but then
correct.
You were saying you were helping him with his finances?
Yes, I would help him write checks because he didn't know how, so
Wow.
I assisted him in writing checks.
Again, you were a leader. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Well, I really believe that the day that my mother put me on that school bus, you know, to go register myself or enroll in first grade, I really truly believe that a leader was born that day. And that's why I'm here today.
Well, it sounds like it's grown on that first day of school. So,
absolutely.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm thinking, how did you get from the farm to politics? What type of work did you have before you got into politics?
Well, before I got into politics, I was serving the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
FEMA. Oh.
FEMA, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes, and I was really instrumental in providing disaster recovery to, you know, following the Hurricane Katrina, if you recall.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that was a mess. Wow.
Yes, it was.
So
yes.
you were service-oriented a long time ago when you were working for FEMA.
You know, I think that it's always been in my nature just to help people and to just advocate for those that are less fortunate. I think it's just part of who I am, part of my DNA.
I guess that started with your 7 siblings.
Yeah.
That had to be a challenge.
It was.
I was number 2 of 5, and I
you?
felt like I had somewhat of a leadership role. But, okay, so you worked at FEMA. Now, what was FEMA like? What was that like working for?
FEMA was a very busy time, especially during Hurricane Katrina. And I also had the opportunity to serve many people and see them recover from a disaster, which is really rewarding to be able to see people, devastated, and then they're okay. So I think that that's really powerful to be able to see people get their lives back together.
That's got to be rewarding.
It really is.
When you see results of your labor.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So how long were you with FEMA?
I was with FEMA for about 8 years.
Okay.
I then came to Hatch when they had the flooding back in 2006.
Okay. Oh, so you were assigned from FEMA as your assignment was Hatch.
Absolutely.
In Doñana County.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where was the transition from FEMA to county commissioner?
Well, that's really interesting that you would say that. As I was working for FEMA, I met a lot of people because we were housed at the county. We had a little cubby hole there at the Flood Commission.
Oh, I've been back in the back.
Yes, so I began to meet a lot of people, wonderful people in the city. And so I met Councilorwoman Olga Peredosa.
Oh, I know Olga. Well, unfortunately she passed, but yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I met Olga, and then I also met Commissioner. Well, she was Commissioner Benavides when I first met her. She was a commissioner. Now she is our county assessor.
Okay.
And so they were really instrumental in talking to me about running for commissioner.
Wow.
And I thought that was kind of off the wall. Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Well, it's like I've never been into politics. It's never been something that I do. It's never been anything that I was really interested in.
Okay.
But because I began to see how Olga Peredosa was speaking one day, and she had such a passion for what she was doing.
Okay.
So I thought, wow, I can do that. But I think that early on, Olga Peredosa must have recognized my leadership skills that I didn't even realize I had.
Well, that's it. When the people recognize a skill in you and then bring it out, but you're surprised. That's.
Yes.
I don't think George Washington wanted to be a leader, and yet look how well he did.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
Well, I applaud that. Now, I have to ask you about this plant. Now, I haven't had a plant between interviews, and I don't understand. So what's the plan all about?
Well, I just felt like the plant was part of this show because it is, to me, it's going to provide a vision for the city of Las Cruces, and it is growth, it's green, it needs to be watered, and I think that I want to be able to push that vision out to the people in the city to realize that we need new leadership and with a new vision.
Well,
and I think that, just growing our city is probably what I want to represent with this. This is kind of my declaration of saying we're going to grow our city, and it's going to look just as beautiful as this plant.
Well, when you become mayor, I certainly hope that our city is going to be as healthy as this plant is. So that's a good symbol. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, so county commissioner. Now, so people recognize that you would be a good county commissioner, and these are fellow commissioners. So these people who are in leadership roles would recognize you as a leader.
That's correct.
So how did that progress?
Well, then I decided to run for county commissioner, and so what I did is I started talking to people actually in my district. I started talking to, what are the needs, what do people need, and that's kind of the way I started.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you weren't so much interested in the title of commissioner. You were taken a bit back when people suggested it, but once you considered the idea, now you want to find out what the people want. Boy, that's so refreshing in a legislator. So
Yes.
I'm sure you were successful in that.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
how did it go? Did you win your election the first time?
I did, yeah, 2016. I won my election for
That
county
was your
commissioner.
first run?
That was my very first run.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was a very interesting race, and I'm happy to be a county commissioner, as a matter of fact.
Well, folks, in all honesty, Isabella is my county commissioner. I live on the East Mesa, and I've been very pleased with her work as commissioner, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I am going to miss you. I'm outside the city. You're going to be mayor in this city. I hope you keep in touch.
Of course, yes. I've learned a lot of things as a commissioner. One of the biggest things that I've learned is that our local, state, and federal government, I think that we focus so much politics without principles. I think that that's the greatest downfall in leading our government. So that's one of the things that I have learned, as a commissioner and as coming in and being new. I didn't even really think about it before because I wasn't so engaged in government.
I got you. I got you. Well, you know, and I find too, at the county commissioners, at the, not so much the county commissioners, but the city council, when we voice our opinion, it's almost as if the city council does not listen. They listen. They hear what we're saying, I hope, but then they do what they want to do, which isn't really, it's almost as if it's agenda-driven, where they make their own decisions even before people speak up. And we had the open forum to speak. And I've been talked down and told, okay, thanks a lot, pat me on the back, and then go do what they want to do, when you have a whole room full of citizens that are up in arms about something, and they don't seem to want to listen.
Yes.
So I know that you're a person that does listen, and I was at the county commissioners meeting lately when we had the animal control issue.
Oh, yes.
And you spoke up very forcefully about, you thought that they were doing a good job, that you supported them, and the whole room was filled with people that said the same thing. We had one fella, Bixby, who said that, no, I have 1,000 people behind me that we don't like the way that the animals are treated and this and that. And I said, Mr. Bixby, where are all these 1,000 people? There was nobody in the room except him. So, it's and it went okay. There was a resolution that was added to it, an agenda or an amendment that was added to it. It wasn't quite right, it didn't seem like, but at least we got the contract done, and you spoke out in favor of it, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree with the wildlife services and what they do.
Yes.
And everything has been such a huge learning curve. One of the other things that I've actually learned as a commissioner is that the responsibility that we have, a fiscal responsibility to our taxpayers, and I think that is so important, because I don't think people that are not engaged in government do not realize the job that we have with taxpayer money. That was huge. And also, one of the last things I learned was that there is so much disrespect going on today with elected officials, and that really bothers me, that we need to be more respectful of one another. Even when you are speaking the truth and facts, people feel like maybe it's an attack on them, but it's really hard to realize that it's not an attack. This is the truth, and these are the facts. And if people want to come to the podium and talk about things, I think it's great, but I think they need to represent the truth and the facts.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's one of the things that has been kind of challenging.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we can talk more about the functions of City Council and how you can improve on it. So, folks, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. There's more to come. We're here with Isabella Solis, who's running for mayor. There you go.
So great. You can do all these different gears like that.
Okay.
Nice.
Guys, not all. But
Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Hi, folks. I'm Dave Gallus, your host. We're back here at Candidates Forum. The theme is Time for New Leadership, and we're here again with Isabella Solis. And Isabella's been talking all about what she's done in her past. We've got her history, great history, leadership skills that started at age 6. And now we're going to ask Isabella about what she has done as a county commissioner that will lend itself to being an excellent mayor. So Isabella, tell us about what you have done, successes you've had in county commission.
Well, Dave, as I talked to the people in my district, the things that they brought up mainly were the flooding issues that we have in East Mesa, and of course roads, and that was really the biggest bulk of what was going on in my district. And so I began to meet with people that began to show me their problems. And so I'm really just thankful that I was able to host a meeting with these individuals, also bring in the county manager, and they reported everything that was going on. So really, I would like to just show a clip right now of what they were showing me.
Sure.
And I said, something has to be done. And there it is. That's the flooding.
Smoke.
Yes, that was last year.
Well, that does look like my street, which is also a floodplain, Lee Barry Lane. But what street is this?
This is Longhorn, and
now.
yes, that's Longhorn. And this is it looks like an arroyo, but it's flooding. So I am happy to say that this is one of the streets that we are already addressing and taking care of. And some of those residents are very happy campers. So I'm happy for them as well.
So you've taken care of this issue.
Yes.
All right.
And then the other thing that I'm really excited about along with this road is the $10.2 million road initiative that I spearheaded. I was excited because I saw a great need in our community, and I'm also thankful that my colleagues on the commission supported this initiative, because without them I wouldn't be able to do this.
Sure.
So it's not just one individual or my idea or my personal idea, but it takes an army, it takes a team to push this together. So I'm thankful for this.
Sure.
And I'm excited about what we can do, and I feel like we can do more. I can do more in the city, not just in my district, but the entire city.
Absolutely. Now, wait a minute. Now, you can't leave county commission until you fix my street, Lee Barry Lane.
Well, we'll see what we can do, okay, Dave?
All right. I have no guarantees, folks.
That's right.
I know. So tell us some more of what you have done as commissioner.
The roads, and then the other thing that, other than this flooding, was it's called the Dragonfly Channel, and so we've been able to, it's an $8 million project, and so we've asked the legislation for $4 million, so we are already seeing some signs of some work being done to be able to channel water to Isaac's Lake. So that's down on Holman. So I'm excited about that project, and all the road initiatives that we have, and so it's been great.
And who would you have to work with for this initiative, for the money? Is it all county? Is it state?
Yeah, capital money, and then some county. So it all works together. It all comes, at the end of the day, it all channels down into one place,
Okay. And what's the time frame on this? Do you think?
On which one?
On the Isaac's Lake, because that's right down the street from me. I'm just off Holman.
Oh, okay.
Personal interest here.
Yeah, it's on the the ICIP list, the capital improvement plan for 2021 through 2025.
Okay.
So we're hoping to get these projects completed.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of money to get these projects done.
I have no idea of what I hear, millions and thousands and stuff. And to me, that's like, I don't understand. So
yes, right.
You have to handle an awful lot of money.
Right.
And we want to trust our legislators that they handle it well.
Absolutely.
So I guess fiscal responsibility is pretty important.
It really is, yeah. And I really feel like that those are some qualifications that lead me to run for mayor.
Sure.
I didn't just put my name in the hat just to run for mayor. I gave it a lot of consideration.
Okay.
And what really catapulted me into wanting to run for mayor was I had some people reaching out to me, asking me. The people asked me to run for mayor, and I said, well, no, I really can't do it. I'm not passionate about it. But as they reached out to me 2 and 3 times, finally, as we were having a discussion, we're talking about businesses in Las Cruces and how they were all closing down, and all those things. I began to think, well, we had that government shutdown in January.
Oh yeah.
And so I began to think, for example, what if government shut down was for 6 months. What would we do? What are we prepared to do
Wow.
with government, being sustained here in Las Cruces, and then all of our businesses are being closed, so we don't really have a balanced government.
Right.
So I was really just like, you know what? There's something needs to change here. We need some new leadership, and I think that this needs to change. We need to balance our government. We need to hear everyone's ideas. It can't just be one-sided. So I was just really encouraged and excited about doing this, and so I said, okay, I'm all in.
Well, that sounds good because, it's funny, driving through Las Cruces, I'll run into a roadblock here, one there. Valley Drive is a
Yes,
nightmare.
yes.
And then I try to take an alternate route, and then I'm on 25 South to try and go around it, and then there's a blockage on 25 South because of road construction. So I hope when you become mayor that you're going to maybe set this up and one project at a time. Now, I realize that there's state money that comes in and you have to spend it before a certain time.
Absolutely.
But I sure hope the planning is a whole lot smoother than it is now and we've lost a lot of businesses in Las Cruces because they didn't have access to their businesses, especially on Valley Drive. So
Absolutely.
that's
correct.
Another lady that's running for mayor, I think, Gina Ortega, is because she lost her bakery business because of the Valley Drive problem.
Right.
So, or one of the street problems. So,
yes.
yeah, and that probably didn't affect county issues, but it
Right.
certainly addressed.
This-
it affects city issues.
Yes,
so,
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And you were talking too about being able to work with the other leadership across the dais.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think you can work with other city council members?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen the way you interact at county commissions meetings, and
Mm-hmm.
I see you talk reason to these people, and you're listened to.
Yes, I mean, that's our job. As leaders, our leaders is to be able to be service to the people, not the other way around.
Well-
The people don't serve us, we serve the people. That's true leadership right there.
I know. Once you're in a leadership role in legislature, you're actually the employee.
Yes.
We are the employer, and I
Yes.
think a lot of politicians miss that.
Well, I mean, and you get into politicians, I mean, all across the country, that they're just waiting for their next election. But true leaders they must focus on the next generation. It's really
Okay.
important. Yeah.
Okay, sure. And it
I mean,
seems,
who's going to be leading our country, right?
Wow, that's a scary thought
Yeah,
unless we
it
get
really
the right
is.
people in there. And like I said, George Washington, he wanted out. He didn't want to be a leader, and yet people recognized him as a good leader. And I think the true leaders want to do their job and get out. So let me ask you a real pointed question. Are you in this for the money?
Absolutely not. I'm just an ordinary person getting involved in government, seeing the needs in the community, and just across this city. And people reach out to me from all districts, but I always try to refer them back to their commissioner or to their city councilor. I don't try to get in the way, but I think that I can make a difference because if I can come up with and spearhead a $10.2 million road initiative for the county and my colleagues come alongside, I think we can do more for the city and to be able to have better planning.
Right.
Better planning with even the construction projects that have gone on.
Sure. Well, it's so important that you can work with people that might be of a different ideology or a different political background or whatever like that. So right now we're heading into the nonpartisan election for city council and mayor. And, people have different views about what a Democrat is, what a Republican is, what an independent is, or a libertarian. And if we can work together, and I know some of the other people running say that they want to work together. And there's no reason why we can't, because if we don't, Las Cruces loses.
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of conversations, and some of the people that I have talked to have said, are we going to become a desolate city? I said, well, no, we're not. We need to come together. We need a partnership together to be able to see changes, to be able to see growth. And that's the only way, because we're not an island to ourselves.
No, we have so much potential.
Absolutely.
And you were saying, too, about growing the leadership from our youth.
Yes.
And that is so important because from what I understand, the education, well, it's actually the legislation in Las Cruces doesn't allow for these students that graduate from school to stay within the community, to find jobs within the community. So that's got to be a high priority, I hope, for you, that you will help grow the businesses that will want to keep our intelligent youth that graduate
Right,
college in our
absolutely.
community.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little close to the end of the show. So Isabella, is there anything you'd like to say to the people of Las Cruces to let them know that you are the candidate that should be elected as mayor and how you're going to help our city?
I think that we need to be able to partnership together. We can't do this by ourselves, and I'm not someone that knows everything, and neither are you or anyone else, so we need to work together. So really partnership and together. So I would say to the city of Las Cruces that we're looking for new leadership. People are reaching out. You can see that there's 10 candidates on the ballot. I want to be Las Cruces' first choice, so please rank me first choice, and I am looking forward to serving as your mayor.
You know, when you said about we don't know everything, absolutely. I mean, even I like our president. Some people don't. But he has an ability to identify the right people that are the experts, and he draws on their information, their expertise. So I've talked to you in the past, and you seem to elicit people that do know, the experts. When we don't know, you know, because they're helping you understand. So I really like that. I like hearing that could you, if it was suggested, could you form, say, a relationship of a board of directors that can help you make the decisions you have to make as a leader?
As a matter of fact, that's one of my goals as mayor. I'd like to be able to have a council board, not the city council, but a council composed of people that are in business from different arenas, to be able to say, let's talk about this. What does the city need, and how can we cast a vision for the city working together?
Oh, that's great. Well, we're just about at the end of our show. So can people get a hold of you to help with your campaign or help with donations or whatever?
Absolutely. They can call if they need to give me a phone call, 575-312-6511, or by email, it's isabella092441@gmail.com. Or they can mail checks to 4090 La Purísima Drive here in Las Cruces.
Okay.
And I'd really love to have their support.
Okay, folks, it's up on the screen, so if you want to help out, just write those numbers down. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. Isabella, it's been a pleasure. I hope to see you back here again, and we'll close it up for today, the Candidates Forum with Isabella Solis for Mayor.
I'm Isabella Solis, candidate for mayor, and I approve this message. Luke Smith, Treasurer.